Hello. In this video, I'll be going over the portrait flow process and how you can get your yearbook portraits onto your yearbook pages. Um, the main stuff you're going to be able to find in the flow tab over on your left side. And here you'll be able to see your different flowable folders, such as the teacher names or the grade, depending on how you have it sorted at your school. Some options here, you could do the last name first, you could do first name first, include the middle name in the flow, and that's kind of similar to last year. Some basic flow templates can be found right here in this flow tab. You can drag and drop them directly to your page, just like this. And now these are just the most basic flow tabs. You can find more advanced options in the Designs tab in Page Designer, and that is under the Portrait setting. Now here, there's many options to choose from. Find something that fits your class well. Here, notice some of the differences between the portrait boxes and regular boxes. You'll notice that the portrait boxes are kind of all connected together in one big group, whereas normal photo boxes are individualized. So keep a note out, you can only flow to these types of boxes where you see the little headshot here. Back to the flow tab. So when you want to start the flow process, what you want to do is you want to make sure you're on the right page. So it looks like on page 42, so I want to make sure that I'm flowing to page 42. Because I only have one page in the range here, it's only going to allow me to flow to one single page. If I was to specify page 43 here at the end, it would flow to page 42 and 43. Or I could specify 43 to 43, and that would flow only to the right-hand page. Once you have that checked off, you want to choose your grade. Here you can see the names that have been tagged. If you notice that any names are misspelled or not tagged, at this point you could click on this and tag one of the names or to edit the spelling if necessary. So now I'm going to flow. It's first going to tell me, make sure I have enough image boxes, and it's going to make me save my page. Now that's really important. You want to have this page saved before you do the flow process, so you can easily drag it back over from the history tab if necessary. Now I'll do the actual flow. Here we see the class has been flowed to the page. We'll notice a couple things right away. We'll notice that some of those boxes disappeared from before, and those weren't used in this class, so they were just automatically removed. We'll also notice that some of the names don't quite fit here, and there's a couple things we can do to resolve that issue. I'm just going to start by resetting the flow so we see what it used to look like, and we'll see some of the names here. You'll notice that this is still one giant box here. So I'm going to make a change to this. I'm going to edit the font size. I'm going to reduce it slightly. We're just going to make it so we can see the full names. See, that applies to everything. If we wanted to make individual edits to these boxes, that would have to be done after the flow, and I can show more on that here momentarily. So now that I've adjusted the size, maybe I want to change the font as well. I could do that. I could choose from any of the fonts available. I could search for font. I could also adjust the style of it. Say I have some of these pre-existing styles. These are styles that you've already loaded to your site. I could change the color of the font. I could also adjust the stroke if I wanted to stroke around the image boxes here. See that slight black stroke. There's some other settings that can be adjusted in this as well. If I double click here before the flow, you'll notice that some of these image boxes are actually invisible. And these were removed when I did that previous flow, but I could add them back in if I wanted to. And so here, I could also adjust the spacing of these flow boxes. One way to do that is by double clicking and opening up this visibility menu. You could click on every other box if you'd like, and what this will do is will greatly space out your boxes. I'll just show you an example of what that would look like. So this top row would only flow to those every other boxes. And you can do this kind of editing with any flow template that you have to adjust the spacing. Another way to adjust the sizing and spacing of your flow boxes is up from this top menu, this flow options. Flow options is going to be really useful for adjusting sizes and spacings and name options as well. The first thing you might want to do is check this automatic box off if you want to do some editing. What this automatic box is going to do, it's automatically going to size your portraits based on these dimensions on the page. You can uncheck that if you'd like, go back to normal. But I like to leave it checked, and this kind of allows you to edit them all at once within the page itself. I'm going to move this box over here so I can see the page a little better. So I don't really like how those look now, they're kind of overlapping the rest of the page. So I'm going to adjust the height of these, make them a little similar to what they used to be, drag them back down. So if I wanted to, I could add additional boxes here with these rows or additional columns as well at this point. I could also adjust the spacing, increases or decrease the size of the spacing. Now they're kind of already at the edges of the pages, so the spacing doesn't allow me to make it any more wide. But if I had them a little smaller, I could adjust the width as well. You could also edit the name options here. You choose name below. These are also available in the templates themselves. All right, now that I have the portrait selected the way I'd like, I'm going to go to that flow again. Save my page changes again. Always a good idea. All right, here, this time we notice right off the back those names are correct. No spacing necessary. And now at this point, if I want to do some individual editing of these names, say I wanted to crop an individual photo, I could double click on these and it'll open up a menu similar to the menu we could hide or remove those boxes. But this menu is the cropping menu. So I could click on this crop symbol and it'll allow me to kind of zoom in on a student's face by expanding or kind of just adjust where at the student is in the portrait box. And at this point, what else I can do is I can expand the flow. And now this is available from the flow options drop-down menu. I already had it saved from earlier here. And this disclaimer, this expand flow is only going to appear once you've already flowed the pages. And it's going to tell you here that once you do this expand option, you're no longer going to be able to reflow these portraits. So make sure you have them the way you like. Make sure the names are spelled correctly. And at this point, you can check this disclaimer and expand. And we'll see here now that I can select these boxes individually. Say I wanted to take one individual student and their name and move them somewhere else on the page. I could do that if I'd like. I can move them anywhere in the book, up top. If it was a teacher, for example, say I just wanted to adjust one of the students' names, I could do that here as well. Just increase the size individually for the student. Maybe I wanted to adjust the size of a box for one of the students. Now at this point, say you've saved your page and you decide that you don't like how it looks and you want to reflow. And at this point, what you would need to do is go to the History tab and drag back over from a previous edit of the page where the boxes are still connected. I just dragged and dropped from the History tab here. Now they're all still connected, and this will allow me to reflow from the Flow tab. I won't have to do any editing again. I won't have to recombine the boxes. They're all kind of together. And that concludes the flowing process. If you have any questions on this, please email technicalsupport@memorybook.com or contact your rep. Thanks.